today's activities, each talk will be followed by a Q&A session. During the talk, please pop your questions into the chat as we go through. And if you raise your virtual hand, it'll make it easier for us to find you. And then we can bring the questions in at the end. So we're going to start off with Jeremy Bryan from local Rolls-Royce solo today on his presentation. His recent move from public to private sector. And then Jack D'Souza and Gavin Berman will talk on working in partnerships to the right to manage demand. So Jack working at Exeter Uni and Gavin at the Parliamentary Digital Services. It'll be interesting to see how they both deal. And from personal experience, it's something they have to deal with on a regular basis. So it'll be interesting to see their take on partnership and managing that demand. So for lunch, I will have a talk by Jag Sohol and Hannah Cooper on how BRM can drive culture and change the organisation. We're then going to have like a half-hour lunch for people to go and have a stretch legs and eat if you can. And during that time, we'll just have a slideshow going. After lunch, you're probably aware, is the biggest change from our previous event, other than making it on one day rather than 2 days. So the community cafe, we're going to use, so we will group you all into reasonable sized groups, and then there'll be a designated moderator being assigned to the group from the committee that we've already agreed with. And there's a number of questions that we're going to go through, and then we will summarise those questions later on in the day. There's a few of us who are going to do that as well. The 3 areas we're looking at is what type of organisation or social impact have you made in the last year? How do you plan to make yourself in 2022? And what do you think constitutes the super BRM or Uber BRM? Then we've got the BRM Institute, and we've got Tom Cruise coming along, and he's going to be covering the topics that were done at the major conference they had earlier in the year, and that's titled the BRM Renaissance. So that's going to be followed with a Q&A with Aaron Barnes. We then have Emma Felton from the National Trust in conversation with Sarah Fogg on her journey from a BRM to the head of IT delivery, and her take on the BRM role and how it works for the National Trust.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Then finally, we've got Pez doing that, giving us a closing speech on what we have done, and we'll also have the results from Community Cafe. We've only really got time to do like the headlines of what's been discussed in that, and we'll put something more together further on after the event. And we're organising a BRM Lounge event in early December, so we may well present it there, or we may send it to you afterwards. So finally, before I hand you over to Jeremy Burns, I'd just like to say that while the dream for some of us was to reduce commuting time and work from home, and COVID very kindly delivered that all to us, and there's some upsides, there are some downsides that I found as well. And when your interactions are only via online meeting rooms, it does feel, I don't know how you feel, but sometimes it does feel like you're on your own. When you've only got the pot plant and the pet dog to consult with. So what we're hoping is that today will give you some inspiration and some tactics as to how you can maybe not feel quite so alone, or maybe teach your dog how the BRM frameworks work so you can get some feedback off them. So hopefully today you'll be able to expand your network. There is a UK European BRM network group on LinkedIn, so please, if you haven't done that, please join that. And I hope you find today's interesting,